It's that time of the season in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership where the top teams go head-to-head in the semi-finals here at 4 Pines Park for the first round of competition for the week. It's the Seagulls hosting the Cowboys. Joining me is Jack O'Neill, and Jack, the heavens have opened. We're set for a wet evening here for this first semi-final.
It is going to be a physical, brutal clash tonight. I was looking at that pre-game ad, of course, and something came to mind, the best of the best. We really are watching the best of the best go at it. We've got Dingo versus Almatagi. We've got Harris versus Lord. We've got Kalsarkel versus Allison. We've got Chapman Kenny versus Cambolo. We've got so many exciting matchups tonight. I'm so pumped for this game.
A big game is now underway. It's Rohan Kaval who sends the ball deep down to Manly territory, and Brad Goodwin no holds back and just charges through some rushing Cowboys defence.
What was in the Powerade?
Big start for the big bopper from the Manly Beaches. It's Allison this time.
Oh.
Some big meters to start this game. It's the Seagulls going right to left, heading towards the northern end of 4 Pines Park. After just the fourth tackle, they're already into the Cowboys' half, so coming out of the blocks with a lot of aggression, Jack, and it'll be interesting to see how they temper that aggression through the next 80 minutes of footy.
Yeah, for sure. The last time these guys faced, I think it was only about 2 weeks ago, and it was a fiery encounter. Chris Lord was sent to the sin bin. Manly, they really showed the blueprint to upsetting the Cowboys. Niggly play and just all-around sledging is what really can upset the Cowboys' rhythm. The Cowboys are going to need to keep that temperament tonight if they're going to win this game, as Moscow makes a strong break and a huge ball back on the inside, and Mobston gets one back on Jackson Allison. It's going to be a really fiery clash. Of course, there was news during the week of a pretty big bust-up between two pretty big players. We'll get into that a bit later in the broadcast, but this is shaping up to be one of the best games the SRL has ever seen.
A lot of emotion on both sides in the lead up to this one as the Cowboys get through their first set. So both sides, good hands to start the game. Obviously wet conditions here in Sydney for this one. It's been raining all afternoon, so it's a soggy track out there, and you can see already the players. It looks like it was Robbo Mobston just covered in mud already. It's going to be a sticky game underneath here this evening, but it's Manly with their hands on the ball at the moment. Blackburn charges it forward. It's been a good start in the opening 5 minutes here for Manly. Definitely had the territorial advantage as Oldfield cuts down that right-hand edge. Up to the 30 they go. Tackle 5. We will wait and see who they look for. And it's Harris, the captain, who punches it across field to Moscow, who does well. Tackle. Takes it on the run, but it's Chapman Kenny and Malachi Booth who chop him down close to that left-hand touchline.
Really good defence on Moscow there. We know how dangerous he can be in the backfield, but he just lined him up. Chapman Kenny almost threw him out. It was really good play. Chrissy Lord now, he makes a strong break.
A couple of changes in both sides. We're going to go through the Cowboys lineup first of all, the away team. And the big change here is Chris Lord, after starting from the bench last week, after suffering that sin bin against Manly 2 weeks ago, has moved into the number 8 jumper. So he'll be playing in the front row alongside Robbo Morriston and Kieran Wells, who's maintained that hooker role as well. So, and the other big news is Kobe Johnson has been kept in the centres. It's the second week in a row that Johnson has found himself partnered up with Cooper Gronk in the middle. An interesting call by Chris Lord and Damien Moana. Obviously they're impressed with Kobe Johnson's defensive effort, Jack.
Yeah, Kobe had a pretty good game last week. He was really involved against his former team, Parramatta. Took a lot of real good hit-ups. And yeah, like you mentioned, his defence was rock solid. So I think that they want to try and use him to try and shut down some of these danger men of Manly. They're all over the park.
So the Cowboys players to come off the bench, Stacey DePace and Casey Namana as Butterfield puts it high. A little bit too deep, I think, for Butterfield. In fact, it's bounced. And Almatangi will be forced to try and make his way out of the in goal. He can't do it, so the Cowboys will restart with a line dropout. It's Caval who'll send it down into the wind slightly in this first half, North Queensland.
Yeah, it was a pretty awkward kick to take for Almatangi. I think it was a really good torp on that ball from the Manly kicker, and I think that he was really hoping that ball would bounce over the dead ball line because he was worried he was going to drop it. So in the end, Manly get a repeat set.
Both sides in their brand new 2022 kits this evening, which is exciting to see as they spread it left to Allison. Tried to get his hands free to an unmarked Malachi Booth. Couldn't do so, but Booth will play dummy half. They'll go back to Butterfield. Another kick from Butterfield. Coming down right below the post, but it's Cambolo who gets up. A fearless Cambaden. And the Cowboys' defence holding early.
Great stuff from the Cowboys. Good. They really didn't look dangerous at all in that set, Manly. The Cowboys shut them down really well, and then it was a beautiful take from Cambolo. You know, under a fair bit of pressure there, Chaz Dingo, he's great in the air, but he didn't hesitate. Cambolo, really good start for the youngster, who was absolutely dynamic last week for the Cowboys.
Cowboys will know exactly what to expect from Manly in this opening 20 or so minutes of the contest. And I think the game plan will probably be from North Queensland to just try and diffuse this attack that'll be relentless against the Cowboys line, and then just try and find some momentum themselves.
Well, that's what teams have had so much trouble with, Kamish, is that, you know, Manly are just relentless. You can hold them out for so long as that kick will find touch right before Chapman Kenny picked it up. So good result for the Cowboys, but I think that it went dead. I think it went out.
Looks like
out.
It did,
yeah.
yes.
It's all right. I know that your eyesight is getting a bit less than impressive in your old age, Kamish, but I'm here to help you out. But no, you know, they're just relentless. Like, you could be winning the game for the whole 60 minutes and you could be working so hard, but they just won't stop coming at you, Manly. They have such good attacking systems, and that's what no team has been able to sustain for 80 minutes, is holding them out. We saw it against the Warriors last week. It was 20 minutes of the Warriors just scrapping for every single point. And they scored the first try, the Warriors, but then Manly, they just got back to their systems. Next thing you know, they've scored 3 unanswered tries. So, you know, they've got to be up the whole game, the Cowboys.
Taumatangi and Luka Moscow, who have been the most dangerous at the back for the Cowboys this season, both on 4 tries apiece. But it's really that kicking game of Damien Moana and Rohan Caval that really has put sides under pressure late in the game. It's Manly once again on attack. It's Butterfield with the kicking duties in the opening 15 minutes of this one, as Cambolo gets away from Dingo as well. Bunty Cambolo over the 40. He's too strong, too fast, and he's under the post for the opening try of the semi-final.
Bunty Cambolo, he's finally got his first try in the SRL. He's done so well all season. He's arguably been the Rookie of the Year, and he finally gets his moment after just weeks on weeks of just working so hard in defence, taking all the tough runs. He finally gets rewarded for all the effort he's put in, and what a run from Bunty Cambolo it was. Great start for Manly.
So the Cowboys get the first points of the game. No mistakes from out in front. Rohan Caval converts, and it's the Cowboys, the away team, with first points in the semi-final. That was, in fact, Bunty Cambolo's second try. He did score against the Warriors back in round 5. But needless to say, I think you're right, Jack. He's definitely a contender for rookie of the season. I mean, he's been absolutely exciting. He's been one of the most exciting players on the sidelines, but he's been absolutely devastating on that left edge for the Cowboys in the second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I'd love to see him move into a center role or maybe a fullback role. Imagine him popping up on either sides of the field just during play. I reckon that'd be really dangerous. I think that he could develop into one of the SRL great players. Yeah, great stuff for the Cowboys. Obviously, is wrong about his first, how many tries he scored, but for a guy that's played that good on the wing, you'd expect him to have a lot more tries than that, but that's not what his game has been based on this season. It's just been based on tough running, tough defense, and just working hard for his team. And he rarely gets rewarded with tries, but like you mentioned, he got one earlier in the year, and he's got another one now. But you also mentioned the Cowboys' kicking game. Look at that. Beautiful kick from Moana. Been the difference so far, I think. I think their kicking has been just a little bit better in this game. You saw that kick to the corner just not quite sit up for the Cowboys earlier, and Chapman Kenny watched it roll out, but that one was much better. So, you know, it's putting a lot of pressure on Manly, but Manly, ooh, as they throw a bit of a wild pass there. But Manly, they did concede the first try last week against the Warriors around this same point, and they scored soon after. So, you know, it's not uncharted territory at all for Manly, and I think they'll stick to their system, so the Cowboys can't get complacent.
No major changes for Manly this week. Will Kay has been a revelation in the halves with Josh Butterfield last couple of weeks, and he stays in the number 6 and has that playmaker one role as Kimbolo makes another break. Gets away from Dingo for the second time. Making some good meters on that left side for the Cowboys at the moment. Marking up against Tyrone Clay.
Oh, beautiful pass from
in this first 40. It's Wells. He'll take it. They're about 17 out here, the Cowboys. An opportunity for them to score again. Only the second tackle, so it's the third tackle now. Just inside Manly's 10. They come right. Moana decides to run it. Up into contact with both Sadler and Dingo. They change it up and go left. Kaval takes the line on and gives it to Kasaka just as he hits that line. So it's final tackle now. They've got numbers to the right. They go deep back into the pocket of Kaval. He puts it high. It's a century kick. Batted back to Almatangi. But the Manly defence did well. They knew he was there and they contained him well.
Yeah, good defence there from Matthew Harris, stopping Tyler Amatagi. They know he loves that play. The back from another player, he picks it up, uses his footwork to score more often than not. He was switched on to it there, the Manly captain. Ooh, but they're in a little bit of trouble. The Cowboys, they're coming to get him. They've got to stick to their systems, like I always say. And I think that Manly, they've just got to they've got to be the next ones to score. They can't let the Cowboys get too much of a lead, or I think that they can run away with this one.
Gone to their interchange bench, Manly. Ben Punch is on the field. So is Creed. Alexander Chapman as the Cowboys give away a penalty late in the tackle count as well. I think it was the 4th tackle.
Yeah, not what they need, the Cowboys. They've had control of this game for pretty much the entirety of it. All 21 minutes so far, but they've let themselves down with that penalty there. And those penalties is what, to some extent, were the difference between them and Manly in their last encounter. It was a really grindy game, really good footy, but, you know, they just let themselves down with their discipline. They need to be careful here.
Casey Namana on the field. 2 early tackles for him. Makes that one on Chaz Dingo, who was hunting on the inside of that Jackson Allison pass. About 20 metres out here. It's a good opportunity. First time they've been down this end for around about 7 or 8 minutes, Manly. They come left to Harris. As one of the Manly players looks like he was taken out by Casey Namana. Referee Rasmussen says play on. So final tackle, about 6 metres out. Back to Booth. On the toe, Malachi Booth. Yeah. As Ben Punch comes through and Manly strike back.
Was that Malachi Booth or was that Alfie Langer? What a beautifully weighted grubber kick. It skids towards a Cowboy, then away from the Cowboy and around. We're going to get a good look on it here. Booth at first receiver. He kicks it off the right and it curves away from the Cowboys player straight into the hands of Ben Punch. What a beautiful kick from the young centre, and what a great bounce and a great try for Manly, and they hit straight back off of some really poor Cowboys discipline.
Oh, coming from that penalty The two rookies combining. Ben Punch's first try in the SRL, and what a time to score it when you're down by 6 points in the rain in a semi-final at home. And tying up the game is Will Kay. 24 minutes gone here at 4 Pine Park. Tuesday night semi-final action live on the Simulation Rugby League Premiership's SRL channel. What a massive week it's been, Jack. We've had, you know, the mines last night and this festival type atmosphere after coming back from Auckland. But now we are ready for two big nights of rugby league.
Yeah, the mines has been awesome. Like I've been talking to a lot of the fans before and after the games, and they love it. They love just going to these games and just relaxing and just watching some entertaining footy with not that many stakes and just checking out the young talent. But this is the footy that everybody loves. This is the footy that everybody waits for, and what is going to get bums in seats as Chaz Dingo splits to the defence and a beautiful offload to Butterfield, but it was read well. You know, you spoke about the week, Kamish. There was a little bit of controversy coming out of both of these teams. As Matthew Harris, one of those controversial figures, breaks straight through. Bit of a bust-up between the captains, Matthew Harris and Chris Lord. And, you know, you've seen that fiery start that we mentioned. I think they've both got their teams up for this one.
As they should be. Both teams should be well and truly focused on what is in front of them. Shouldn't really be worrying about bar fight bust-ups. As Amatangi, speaking of bust-ups, busts straight through the middle, almost getting through the tackle of Malachi Booth.
One thing the Manly side did really well shutting down Al-Matagi the last time these two teams met is they just kept breaking the line with their forwards, and that forced Al-Matagi to do a lot of catch-up, a lot of defence, and that really took a sting out of his running game. And I think they're trying to do the same. The Cowboys middles, they need to defend Tyler Al-Matagi tonight.
Jesse Bennett on the bench for the Seagulls tonight, one of those players who really does bend the line for Manly, especially in that second half when he tends to move to the front row position. As Wallace puts up the kick, Tyler Clegg takes it, he gets away from one of the Cowboys players, and he will be too fast. Luka Moscow chasing, but Tyler Clay too fast, and the Seagulls take the lead here at home.
Beautiful run from Tyrone Clay. I just checked the team list and it's Tyrone. We get mixed up every single week. I'm sure I'm going to call him Tyler next time they play Manly. But what an absolutely beautiful run from the man with two names. You know, it's as simple as that. Fatigue in the middle for the Cowboys, and Tyrone makes them pay.
A mysterious man, Tyrone Clay.
Off to the Rabbitohs next season, isn't he?
Getting back to the side that he made his debut in back in season 1. As Will Kay converts. Following Tyler Clay to the Rabbitohs will be Joshua Butterfield. Seagulls obviously going for that three-prong halves attack this season, and it's taken a while, but Will Kay seems to have found his spot in the SRL after making his debut back in season 2. It was a sort of a rough season for Kay. He really didn't have that leadership team around him at North Queensland back in season 2, and was traded to the Seagulls and found himself behind the season 2 Rookie of the Year, Kyle Lewis, and one of the Panthers season 2 standouts, Josh Butterfield. As the Cowboys complain about Bo Sadler not behind the play the ball there. Referee Rasmussen allows it to play on. Punch juggles it for a moment. That was Ben. It's just back to Will Kay. He really has found his spot in the Manly halves, hasn't he?
Yeah, Will Kay's a funny one. You know, coming up against his former club, it's easy to forget that he was there last year because he had a year to forget. But I think as a rookie, it was very hard to come into that Cowboys side, whereas the Cowboys have now got an experienced man in Damian Moana in the halves instead, as that's a massive pass, and Caval breaks straight through. Good run from behind. But, you know, he's moved to Manly and he started off on the bench. His first starting game of the season was against Manly, as Cambolo is going to be pushed out there by some good defence from Manly. But yeah, he had his first start for Manly against the Cowboys, his former club. Matthew Harris told me that was always the plan on the Be The Player podcast. And from there, he just won the starting jersey. He was just so good that he couldn't keep him out. And now look at him.
Good tackle on Bunty Cambolo from Tyler Clay. The try scorer in the thick of things at the moment as we restart here, around about 32 metres out from the Seagulls line. It's 12 points to 6. The Seagulls in front after 32 minutes as Alexander Chapman hits his first run of the game. Chaz Dingo starts to, or seems to be warming up to things as again. Another little bit of confusion at the play the ball for the Seagulls as Blackburn initially looks to run a bit of a dummy line and then sort of falls back expecting a pass. So I wouldn't say that things are clicking exactly how they would like it for Manly, but they are finding themselves up at the moment.
Yeah, well, Joshua Blackburn, he's been playing in the centres the past few weeks, but they moved Malachi Booth there. Blackburn's playing in the second row, and I think, yeah, it's a bit of confusion there, not quite knowing his job on that play. So Matty Harris will have to iron that out with him as soon as possible, or they can risk an error. They need to keep the Cowboys where they've got them at the moment. They've taken control back of the game, Manly, but it won't take much for the Cowboys to get back in this one.
Tackle 3 just outside their own 40 here, as I thought for a moment they were going to go short side out to the wing of Cambolo again. He's having a good battle with Tyler Clay at the moment as Amatangi looking for some tiring Manly forwards. Can't get past the tackle of Matthew Harris as the Cowboys go back to the pocket, which is Damien Moana. Once again, down to Chapman Kenny.
Ooh.
Cowboys chase well, led by Moana. And they do well to cut him down inside the Manly 30.
Yeah, the Cowboys, their kicking game again tonight has been pretty good. I think he would have liked to find the grass there, the Cowboys kicker. But Manly, they're not quite finding many breaks at the moment. Chapman Kenny might help with that. No, they're defending this set quite well, the Cows. They've got to try and keep him. They can't miss this next tackle, and they've got to try and get up at least to the 30 or even the 40 off of this next kick if they want to try and find some points before the break. We've only got 4 minutes left to go in this half.
As the Seagulls look to go down to Luka Moscow. Had a quiet opening 40 minutes so far, and he's taken down a good tackle by Maverick Oldfield. And Oldfield, in fact, has given away a penalty. A bit of a harsh call there. I mean, he was lying all over Moscow. He didn't really have too much time to get off him, but either way, penalty for the Cowboys.
They've really been running the gauntlet, I suppose, these two sides. They've been holding on, and Rasmussen has been giving them plenty of warnings. I think that one was just too long, and I think that he's a bit sick of the wrestle, so he's called a penalty there as Moscow makes a strong break. The Cowboys have got 2.5 minutes to find some points.
It is the Seagulls who really do control that wrestle the best in the SRL at the moment. The power in their forwards really does seem to have a...
Oh, no.
As Moana trying to get the hands free for the offload, and he's knocked it on. Just over 2 minutes remaining. So from the scrum goes Gronk.
Shot.
That's a big tackle by Cooper Gronk on Chaz Dingo. Had to be made. They come left to Kay. Two Cowboys players. Forced to take down Will Kay as Oldfield jinks off the left and gets around Gronk this time. Over the halfway line, a good quick play the ball as well as Sadler rushes at a dummy half to bed. Daniel Punch this time. The Punch brothers on the attack in this opening 40. Butterfield through the hands to Blackburn, who straightens it up. Into the tackle of, I think it was Cooper Gronk. Butterfield once again putting it high, coming through as Matthew Harris, but a little bit too deep. And now Matangi doesn't have any real pressure on him. So counting down to half time, Jack. A pretty even affair so far.
Yeah, for sure. As the last player is going to sound here, I think it's going to be a really entertaining second half.
So 12 points to 6 here at 4 Pines Park.
George is driving. He's too wasted. I should say something, but I could look dumb in front of Monique. Bro, Monique says you're dumb, but if he crashes, I'll have to live with his family.
Puzzle time.
And if he dies, Ghost George will haunt me forever.
Grab a chip. Want a chip?
You know I can't grab your ghost chips. Go away.
Spoon.
Spacehead. Bro, Willie, what are you doing, bro?
Oh, I've been internalizing a really complicated situation in my head.
What are you on about?
I don't think you should drive.
Nah.
Nah, you're too drunk, bro. Just crash here.
Yeah, it's crash here. Okay.
Stop a mate from driving drunk. Legend.
So half time here at 4 Pines Park. That's the Seagulls with a 12 points to 6 lead at half time. 14 out of 14 completions for Manly. And Jack, a rather even first half. It was the Seagulls who came out of the blocks with a hiss and a roar. The Cowboys really controlled that middle half of the first half. But then the Seagulls coming back with 2 tries and they lead after the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I think Manly owned that first 10 minutes. Then the Cowboys took control for sort of that 10th minute to 30th minute mark, but then the Seagulls then took control back. So it's been a really, shifting half momentum-wise. But you look at those completions for Manly, that's the difference. 14 out of 14, whereas the Cowboys have made 2 errors as well as conceding a penalty. That makes 3. The only error for Manly was a penalty conceded from themselves. You look at that tackle count, the Cowboys have had to make 36 more tackles. The missed tackle count, pretty even, and the line breaks pretty even as well, but it's just been those completions for Manly that have given them the platform to score 2 tries.
Okay, Jack, second half action coming up soon. We'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to 4 Pines Park here in Manly. Second half action underway. It's Will Kay who sends it down to the Cowboys for the second 40. 2 tries to 1 in that first half. It was the Cowboys who got on the board early through Bunty Kimbolo, but the Sea Eagles struck back with 2 tries of their own to really even it up and lead in the wet here at home.
Yeah, it's been a really good first half of finals footy as Thomas Wallace makes a strong run there. I think the Manly have just had a little bit of a better game so far, but the Cowboys are right up in this contest at the moment. I think that this is such an important half. The Cowboys down by 6. They've got to keep their discipline as they give away an offside penalty, as I say that. Whereas Manly, they're a very, very consistent side. They've got a game plan. They've got systems that they stick to. I think that we're in for a treat.
So the Cowboys give away an early penalty. Player getting in the way of the play the ball is not the start Chris Lord or Damien Moana would have been hoping for, as Dingo cuts through the middle. Met well by his opposite Amatangi. There's always also Thomas Wallace who takes him down. A good charge by Blackburn, just a couple of inches out as they go flat to Butterfield. Josh Butterfield, couple of Cowboys players have managed to hold him up.
Dingo didn't look very well when he made that break. He looked very slow.
He's starting on the 10 as they go to Jesse Bennett on at half time for Matthew Harris. As they come, final tackle, Butterfield picked up well by Kieran Wells. What a take by the little hooker.
Well done.
On the charge. And the Cowboys lucky to defuse that one as early minutes into the second half.
I mentioned Chaz Dingo. He's at the back at the moment. He's sort of complaining about a hamstring a little bit, but he seems to be able to be running that one off. But yeah, what a take for young Wells. He's obviously his first season. He's mainly played off the bench, but last week he starred in that hooking role, and Chris Lord decided to reward him with the starting jersey for this big finals game. I'm not too sure about the tactics around that kick from Rahan Taval. I think the wind might have picked that one up a little bit, and now they give away a penalty on Butterfield. So it's starting to fall apart a little bit for the Cowboys. They need to find their discipline. I think Chris Lord is off at the moment, so they need to get him on when they can.
Welcome back, a quick interchange right there for the Cowboys. Chris Lord trying to get him back on the park. So it's the Seagulls with this penalty as Booth charges through the middle. Taken down a metre short by Tyler Amatangi as they go right to Dingo, and he cuts through the middle. The Seagulls strike after 2 Cowboys penalties, and they stretch their lead out to 16 points to 6.
Yeah, they should be very frustrated with that one, the Cowboys. It's just really poor discipline from them. It was a bad kick from Rahan Taval, and they followed up with a held-in tackle penalty, and then some soft defence in the middle, and Dingo's pace too strong as they crash over the line.
So 16 points to 6. First try of the second half to the Seagulls, as we are going to go for a quick interchange break here at 4 Pines Park. Quick interchange there as Chris Lord looks to make his way back onto the park. The captain taking a extra long toilet break at that half-time. Missed the second half kickoff as Cavell gets the game underway. It's the Cowboys down 18 points to 6. 47 minutes gone, Jack, and it's been all the Manly Seagulls in the last 20 or so minutes of this game.
Yeah, I've just got word from the interchange officials. It looks like Chris Lord was getting strapped up at halftime. That's why he didn't come out straight away. I wonder if he's carrying some sort of injury or if they just had to restrap a prior injury as Blackburn goes straight through. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just going wheeze. But the Seagulls will be looking to, I guess, look at that as Lord looks to make his way onto the park. But again, they've got good territory here in that opening set. After that try, as Kay's getting caught with the ball, 3 Cowboys players just swarm on him.
Good effort from the Cowboys.
As they go to the pace, go to Mobiston. These big Cowboys players really need to force their way back into this game.
Yeah, it was a really good start from the Cowboys. They made about 60 metres on their first set. And then I think Cavell kicked the ball into the back of one of his players. And from there, Manly have just dominated since. So they really need to find some field position and get back into this game and back into the grind, the Cowboys.
Now, we saw earlier in the season that interchange between Kieran Wells and Thomas Wallace, how well it worked. And, you know, that second half with Kieran Wells coming on, it really added a lot to that Cowboys structure in that second 40 minutes. And I wonder whether straying away from that has any effect on the second half performance?
I think I agree with you. Like, it's a weird one. I think they're the only real club, or the only club that's really ran with that hooker rotation. Most clubs have got 80-minute hookers that play that role for the full 80. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. But it worked a treat. Like, Kieran Wells would come on with a lot of energy. He'd really help defend that middle. And then they'd have a lot of mobility in the middle defence as well with Thomas Wallace, moving back there. But yeah, it's an odd one. I would have kept Wells on the bench. I think that, you know, especially for a rookie coming to his first finals game, I think that the bench probably would have been a better decision. I also prefer Chris Lord in that lock position because I think, you know, one thing that he and Matthew Harris, for me, have been sort of toe-to-toe with is just their ball playing in the middle of the field and how good they've been at that. So I think they're sort of missing Lord's work out of lock as well.
Good defensive effort here from Manly, keeping the Cowboys fair way away from their own line. They'll be forced to kick here from Moana down to the wing of Tyler Clay, and he lets it bounce, gets around a tackle and comes infield a little bit to get away from that sideline. But interesting decision from Clay, allowing that one to bounce. Obviously the win behind the Cowboys in the second half, and I know the lights are on because of the overhead conditions, so maybe those lights are causing a few issues for the players in the second 40 as the Seagulls look to push their way out of their own half. Dingo on tackle 4, just short of the halfway line as Lewis on at the hooker role in the second half, and for the second time in a row, it's Ellison to play the ball. They'll go back to Butterfield. He's done really well, Josh Butterfield, with the kicking duties this evening. Down to Moscow once again. And Jack, for me, these Cowboys outside backs just really aren't having any space to move at the moment.
No, well, they've really put a target on Luka Moscow, the Manly side. Obviously, Bunty Cambolo is now off. I think Johnny Columbus has come on in place for him. But Cambolo really didn't get many kicks kicked towards him, and when they did, he scored. So I think they've really decided they're going to pepper Moscow. I think they see him as easier to defend, maybe. I'm not too sure about why, but it's a weird one. And Almatagi, he hasn't been able to get any space, but Manly have always been able to shut him down this season, and they're doing the same again at the moment. So, yeah, I think their outside backs really need to step up and try and create some yardage and just take some pressure off their forwards.
Goodwin back onto the park for the Seagulls. Jesse Bennett on the field in the second half as well after sustaining an injury last week against the Warriors and having to go through a week's worth of treatment to get ready for this game, and only able to play 40 minutes in the semi-final, but he'll be looking to make a big difference out there for the Seagulls.
Yeah, for sure. One thing Jesse Bennett brings is a lot of aggression, and like you mentioned that first half, Kamish, he bends the line really well. He's going to bring a lot of intensity in the second half, as he has already.
Looking across the field to Luka Moscow once again, but it's the Seagulls chase led by Malachi Booth, which they continue to nullify any sort of attacking opportunities from the Cowboys' outside backs.
As you say that, though, our Matagi, he's still going. Dingo, that hamstring might be causing him a bit of issues. There's not really any support. There's the support, but it's too late. But that's a great run from Tyler. The Cowboys, they're on the attack now. I was just going to mention Malachi Booth. You know, I think it was last week that he had that really good performance. And, you know, it's just taken him to another level all of a sudden. He looks really good at the moment.
Looking really good as the Cowboys look good as well. As Moana over the line.
He's in.
Damien Moana has pushed himself over from about 3 or 4 metres out. Up against, it looks like could have been Josh Butterfield. But the vice-captain just too strong. A couple of the Manly players complaining that the referee should have called Howard, but as far as I saw, Moana was still moving and had a little bit of momentum going forward.
Yeah, for sure. You look at that effort at the moment. There's so much momentum. He's moving forward. He's gone about halfway into the in-goals. I saw it in the NRL a couple of days ago, actually. I think it was the Manly and Titans game. A player did that, and the defending team actually dragged that player straight over the dead ball line. He almost could have done that, Joshua Butterfield. That's how far in young Damien Moana, the young prince of North Queensland, went. But I mentioned it in my podcast earlier in the week. I said that he's the man for the Cowboys. You know, Tyler Amatagi, he gets lots of the raps and he's called the Cowboys danger man. But I reckon Damien Moana is the Iceman for the Cowboys. If they're going to win a premiership, it's going to be off the back of him.
So a try to Damien Moana. Cowboys first of the second half. He's had a good season for the Cowboys after transferring from the Warriors after season 2. It's his 3rd try of the season, 5th of his career. But it's really been the kicking meters that has put Damien Moana as one of the leading halves in the competition, averaging 221 per game. And it's really one of those aspects of the game that separates the top sides from the rest.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, he's kept his side in games at time off of his kicking game. You look at the game last week against Parramatta. The difference for me was Bunty Cambolo and the kicking. The kicking game from the Cowboys is what kept the Eels under pressure and is what found them points. As there's a Falcon there. Will Kay's taken full advantage. He's gone straight through. I think we'll see Bunty Cambolo join the game in a moment as well. It's getting to that point when he's going to be reintroduced. So, you know, the Cowboys, if they go on to win this game, will look straight back on that inspirational run from Tyler Amatagi. What a run it was that set up that try.
They go short side of Seagulls as Moscow's intercepted it, but he's been pushed into touch by one of the Manly players. Could have been Maverick Oldfield. In fact, referee has called knock on against Manly, so the Cowboys do get the feet to the scrum. Interesting call there by, I think it was referee Perenara who made that one, as Smith makes his way his first run of the second half, up just short of the Manly 30.
Good defence.
Thought for a moment Moscow had ran out, but big call by the referee that time. DePace charging up through the middle. He's had a good second half so far for the Cowboys as Wells plays dummy half. They go to Moana, who charges off a short ball from Caval, almost getting away. In fact, the Cowboys have got a penalty. Big decision. They've got decided to tap and run. I thought they might have taken a 2 there. A big call from Damien Moana, who's on the field as the captain at the moment. They go right to Moana. Looking to set it up centre field, about 14, 15 metres out. They come near side. Kaval to Kasakau, driving the legs forward. Jamal Kasakau into the Manly 10. Big numbers to the left as Cowboys. They go to Stace to pace. He charges forward, but the Seagulls defence get up on him well and hold him out a couple of metres. As Kasakau picks it up, the Cowboys strike back through their big second rower, Jamal Kasakau.
I thought that play had broken down big time, but Kasakau, he picks the ball up. We'll have a look at it here, and yeah, spilled ball, he picks it up, and the line just opened up for him. Matty Harris, he just overcommitted on the man he thought was going to get the football in number 6, Rahan Kaval, and he's in for a try, Big Jamal. This is a really entertaining game, and, you know, this is a huge kick from Kaval. This could, you know, make or break the game for the Cowboys.
Slight win behind the Cowboys in the second half, so he'll start it from the right, drags it back, and it's a great kick by the young Cowboys, 5'8", and they draw it up level, 18 apiece with 14 minutes remaining. Tell you what, it was Kieran Wells who just bullet past it towards Kaval, and the Manly defence just came out, took him out. It could have been a penalty try if Kasaka didn't go over. Because Kaval was taken out without the ball. But a fortuitous bounce for the Cowboys, and it just set up to Kasaka to just dive over the line.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed about the refereeing of Rasmussen, I think that he likes, as Irwin makes a strong break, I think that he likes to play on a lot of the time with those supposed taken without the ball, so we can let the game flow. And right there we saw the rewards of doing that. Kasakau takes full advantage of a Seagulls line that was broken up as Al-Matagi. He looks dangerous, but that's really strong defence. I think it was Joshua Butterfield that shut him down and drove him back. So big 13 minutes coming up. Will we see the field goal come into play in the next 5 minutes or so?
So a good defensive set from Manly, but the Cowboys get through their set after the try, which has always been a little bit of an issue for sides as Clay busts through the middle. It's Al-Matangi coming across. Al-Matangi does well, but what a burst by Tyrone Clay. Only 10 out here, the Seagulls. Good quick play the ball as Bennett calls for it on the inside. Busts down to about 10 out. 5 out to Butterfield, to Dingo. The dancing feet of Chaz Dingo, and he's too dangerous, too elusive, and we're going to go upstairs, but I think he's got it down.
Chaz Dingo, the SRL superstar, has stood up here. We'll have one more look at it, and yeah, he's got that ball straight down to the ground. What a result for Manly. I said it in the first half, they are relentless. They've just conceded 2 tries in a row. Doesn't affect them at all, does not affect the confidence. They just stick to their systems. They roll downfield off of a beautiful break from Tyrone Clay, who has been super menacing all game for the Seagulls. And now they are only 11 minutes away from back-to-back grand final appearances.
As Kay will come in, the wind has changed direction, so it's behind the Seagulls this time, and he hits the side of the one of the uprights. I think it was the right-hand upright, and it's just sort of trickled over the crossbar. So a big kick for the Seagulls goes over, and we are back out to a 6-point ball game.
Oh, this is going to be a big 10 minutes for the Cowboys. They've got to force an error soon. They've just got to front up and they've got to square up. Kaval's kick on the end of that set was not very strong. I think they need to improve on that as well. So that's a beautiful kickoff from him there. Matthew Harris off the back fence, but great defense from the Cowboys. They drive the Manly captain back. What a result.
Big set here for the Seagulls. They have to get through this. They can't afford to give away or throw away a pass that goes into the hands of the Cowboys, as so often we see it. The Cowboys will know that, and they'll be pushing up, especially on some of these younger Seagulls players, as they go to Dingo, decides to give it to Clay. He's been dangerous on this right edge for Manly. Taken around the legs by a couple of Cowboys players. They're into North Queensland's half on tackle 4. So they'll be kicking from around about 40 metres out. Back to Kay. He'll just put a short little kick over the Cowboys' defensive line as Almatangi comes away with it and makes his way just short of their own 40 here, the Cowboys.
Just want to wrap Chaz Dingo there. He did really well to set himself where Tyler Amatagi was going to run. He saw the gap in the defensive line and he set himself there to limit his meters as Kobe Johnston's through. Great ball playing from Manly. It's third tackle. They're only 30 meters away. They can find some points now and even this game up as, sorry about that. It's a bit of a commentary.
Moana has given the ball away. Matthew Harris looks like he actually called for that one. As Moana looks like he just threw a blind pass into the Manly skipper's hand. So a little bit of a letdown for the Cowboys fans. But the Seagulls support really is starting to get behind their team. Harris makes another good charge up through the middle on for his second stint. I think he had about 20 minutes on the sidelines. Jesse Bennett charging forward. Just short of the 20 here, so kicking from around about 32 metres out as Kay decides to put it high. Not a high kick, waiting for Chapman Kenny to come through and use his height. But it was Robbo Mobiston who was waiting for him. As he hit the ground, the Cowboys will get it. 80 metres to go. 5.5 minutes remaining. Who do they go to, Jack?
Oh, look, that was actually a really good result for the Manly Seagulls because they caught the man with the ball and it meant that none of their danger men could take a kick return, which really stifles the set of the Cowboys. But, you know, I think Damian Moana's got to get his hands on the ball as well. I think Rahan Taval's got to do a bit more on this left-hand side because if he can run the ball and worry them a little bit on the left, that gives Moana room to do his thing on the right-hand side of the field. So I think that the Cowboys' spine, they've got to come into play now, especially with this kick. This kick is huge for the rest of this game.
Big kick, they'll need big defence on Tyler Clay, or Tyrone Clay as it's called, and they do well. They hold him down there. They really need to force an error now, the Cowboys, with 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Harris takes it forward. He's led from the front well in the last 15 minutes or so since coming back on the park. Bennett, big minutes from the second rower towards us. Kay finds Dingo on the inside. Starting to really play with some of these tiring Cowboys forwards as they get a quick play the ball. They go to Butterfield, to Chapman Kenny. He's been looked after well by Luca Moscow and Kobe Johnson. So final tackle, possibly the last chance for the Cowboys. They're going to go across to the wing of Johnny Columbus. Columbus can't get away from Oldfield. Clay goes around the ankles, and the Cowboys have 80 minutes to go with a little over 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, the Cowboys, they've got to find something really quick. They might need to get they've got to get Almatagi on the ball somehow. Moscow might need to come infield as well. But, you know, Manly's defence for the most part of the second half has just been so good as Mobiston, who runs over the top of both Sadler. But, unless they concede a penalty, they won't. They're just too disciplined, too well drilled. And unless we can see a good early kick here from Moana, we won't. It's not going to find touch at all. And that's looking like that's going to be it for the game.
A minute remaining here at Four Pines Park, the first semi-final for the Season 3 final series coming up tomorrow night. It's the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Brisbane Broncos. But it's the Sea Eagles out in front at the moment, looking to book their spot in the Season 3 Grand Final. A 6-point lead with only 20 seconds remaining. Will the Cowboys get another chance? I don't think they will. This could be the final tackle as Harris charges it forward. The siren sounds in the background, and that is it. The Sea Eagles take the win here in front of their home crowd, and they will book their second grand final in a row. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, They will regroup and face the winner of that Rabbitohs and Broncos game tomorrow night. But Jack, a second half, the Cowboys came back in, but it was that Chaz Dingo try, only a couple of minutes out from the full-time siren, that really was the difference.
Yeah, the Cowboys, to their credit, they showed a lot of heart, a lot of desperation to stay in this game, scoring 2 tries in quick fashion. They worked really hard for that, but again, it was Tyrone Clay who just stood up, got them into good field position, and Chaz Dingo, that was one of his better performances of the season. He's just electric. He really is the SRL's biggest superstar, and he's shown why again tonight. But what a good game. You know, these two guys really are the top teams in our competition. They're the top 2 sides for a reason, and we saw why. But you look at that completion rate of Manly, only 1 incomplete set compared to the Cowboys, who had 3 incomplete sets. Really high quality football. Yeah, it's a good performance from Manly. They're through to the grand final now for the 2nd year running, looking to go back to back. Whereas the Cowboys, their season isn't over as a top 2 side. They'll face the winner of tomorrow night's clash. So, you know, Manly get the week off, and that's going to be huge for them, but the Cowboys are not done with yet.
So the stats here for both sides. It was big minutes from the Seagulls forwards. Malachi Booth had a pretty good game in the centres for the Seagulls after we thought he was hard done by being moved from that left edge after pretty his best game of his career. Josh Butterfield kicked well for the Seagulls, and surprising, he sort of dominated that kicking for Manly, where I thought it was going to be more of a Will Kay role. But Josh Butterfield kicking for 281 metres. Most run metres, Tyrone Clay, 6 runs for 230 metres. Really was the most dangerous player on the field. And every time he touched the ball, Jack, just seemed like he was, just cutting the defensive line with ease.
Yeah, well, his fullback, he'll be filthy with that. Have a look at that. 20 runs from his fullback, and he had less run meters than him. Tyrone Clay, only 6. But every single touch was just pure class. He got his side into good field position with every single run and got them out of trouble. The Cowboys were coming to get them a lot, but they kept kicking to Clay, which I think they were trying to avoid Chapman Kenny, because we know how good he can be as well. I think he was running for 350 metres in 50 minutes only a couple of weeks ago. So they thought they'd go at Clay, but Clay stood up, and that's really good to see.
Defensively, Manly, not missing too many tackles, but, not many tackles there. Obviously spread around the team pretty well. Everyone putting their hand up. No one making more than 20 tackles. But line breaks, again, Chaz Dingo with 8, which is, I guess for the fullbacks, the standard is around about 6 to 7. So he had a pretty good second 40 minutes, Chaz Dingo. A little bit quiet in that first half, but, really stepping up. And obviously that match-winning try with around about 10 minutes remaining, the defining moment in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Chaz, he just stands up when he needs to. Every single game, he's just where he needs to be. He's got a really high IQ for a fullback, and I think that gets, underestimated because of how brilliant he is on the field with the football, but he's just so smart. He gets himself into the right position defensively and with the ball. You saw that with Tyler Almatagi. Whenever he'd make a break, Chaz was right there. He was able to judge the line perfectly, and yeah, just a really mature performance from the Seagulls number 1.
Compare that to Tyler Almatagi, only 2 line breaks the whole game. And we talked a couple of times throughout how the Cowboys outside backs just struggling to have any sort of impact on the edges. I was surprised Bunty Kimbolo came off at half-time. I thought he was looking really dangerous for the Cowboys in that first 40 minutes. Luka Moscow, another player who, he's got a lot of promise about him. He's had a really good season for the Cowboys, but just didn't really have any opportunities, marked well by Kane Chapman-Kenny in that second 40. But yeah, no real players getting, Robbo Mobiston 117 metres. The Cowboys forwards just being sort of contained, aren't they?
Yeah, well, on the outside backs first, you look at Tyler Amatagi, Bunty Cambola, and Luka Moscow's run meters, 165, 143, 123. That's pretty decent numbers, but like you said, the lack of line breaks, like, it's not for lack of trying. It was just such good defense from Manly. They just shut them down so well. But then, yeah, you mentioned those forwards, and they really were dominated, to be honest, by that Manly pack at times. I think that possession, that weight of possession definitely didn't help. You know, Mobiston had 117, as you said, Wallace 108, but no other forward clocked over 100 meters. Chris Lord, the captain, only managed 56. Kobe Johnston, who was really involved last week against Parramatta, only had 42, obviously in the centres this week, but still, you know. And then you look at the tackle count, and Robbo Mobston, 25 tackles, 28 from Thomas Wallace. He led the game. They had to do a lot more dirty work, a lot more defence, and that took a lot of sting out of them. But, you know, and you look at the kick meters too. They were really kicking out of trouble, the Cowboys.
Yeah, Damien Moana, you know, we talked earlier on, averaging 221 metres a game, 343 today. He looked like he turned that Manly side around every time he put boot to ball, but nonetheless, couldn't quite get the biscuits here tonight, the Cowboys. It's the Seagulls who will move forward through to the Season 3 Grand Final. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, they will suit up again next week, and they will take on the winner of tomorrow night's match between the Rabbitohs and the Broncos. Jack, have you got a final word?
What a game. Manly, congratulations. You are through to the grand final. But the Cowboys fans, do not fear. Your side has got another chance next week. The finals is not done with yet. This race is nowhere near complete, and I am so pumped for the rest of this week of footy and the next two games in the next 2 weeks as well. The SRL is just getting bigger and better, and I'm pumped for the rest of these final series.
Good to call it with you, Jack. As always, I'll see you again next week. But to everyone else, stay tuned and be back tomorrow live on SRL TV. Semi-final 2 coming up. It's the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Brisbane Broncos live here in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership semi-finals. Turn that sound off, okay. So yeah, have you seen that on the Discord? Have you seen that? Oh, sorry, I'm just going to end the stream.
Yeah, no, you're good, bro.
Don't mind, eh? I'll end this. So, okay. Have you seen that new channel that I've made called SRL Bank? Well, not channel, but it's like a section. Oh, shit.